Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team, we have reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers since 2020. So that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I also am a content provider and member of the advisory board of a platform called Indie Soup Media, which is a platform of over about 35 independent content creators that is powered by our good friend Dr. Tachi out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I gotta slow down. I don't know. I'm slurring this morning. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That's better. There you go. And now in 4 months has over 15,000 YouTube subscribers. So you can catch replays of a lot of the epic conversations that I host on that platform. And just general support would be great. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. We're about 20 subscribers away from 1,500. So I'm making an ask. If you feel comfortable, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube to get us to the 1,500 marker. Also, follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you want to advertise your business, product, or service on the platform, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. And also, if you want to join the Discord group, please and thank you. We continue the conversations in between conversations. dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com.
You know, and that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harriet Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm I'm one of the Harriet Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like, I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. Now, really, the rappers get all the attention. You know, seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, you know, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room.
Overly sexualized Black folks.
Over, like the twerkers and the, you know, just people that, you know, don't always represent the best of us, you know, the diversity, you know, like people like Dr. Vibe. Like, everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe. Dr.
Really
Vibe he's trying to do good work for Black people. Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him. The men who are also doing the same thing. I see Dr. Vibe in here. He's a great brother. Everybody should follow Dr. Vibe, by the way. He's a smart brother in Canada, and we need to follow smart people. So follow Dr. Vibe. If you see him in the chat, and Dr. Vibe, say your name in the chat so people can see you. I want you to click on his name, and I want you to go follow him, please, because I want these men and women that are doing the right things to get the support they deserve. Hey, Dr. Vibe, how you doing, brother? Again, I like I always do, I gotta say, everybody should go follow Dr. Vibe. He's got a great show. Dr. Vibe, I know Dr. Vibe's got a kingdom because I see your channel. I see you pouring into that every day. Everybody should follow Dr. Vibe, by the way. Look him up, Dr. Vibe, V-I-B-E. He's a great friend of me and my wife, and I love this guy.
Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe Show. Dr. Vibe is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. You know, a lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. You know, helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Vibe is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Vibe Show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway,
Wayne, your first conversation piece is, what is your relationship with money?
100%. I want to understand, does money run you, or do you run your money? Right? Are you a slave to your money, or is your money working the way you want your money to work? So how does your money work? I think a lot of people who are tuning into this show come from the diaspora. So they're coming from Africa, or they're coming from the Caribbean. And if their parents were from another country and they come to Canada, they're going to have a relationship with money from where they were from, not where they're at. So if you're teaching concepts about saving is universal. Whether you're in the Caribbean, you're in Africa, United States, or Canada, saving. but in terms of what investment vehicles are available to you and which ones make the most sense from a tax perspective, this is where you need to look at what your relationship is with money for you. Are you guys spenders? Is that what your relationship with money is? Are you guys savers? Are you the people who don't put anything on the credit card? Or are you the people who put everything on the credit card to get points? What's your relationship with money? What's your relationship with credit? Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I want to bring up a conversation piece. What is the difference between saving and investing?
Okay, fantastic. Saving makes money on the money that's there. So you have $100 and you want to save, you're going to put another $5 in to the pot, and then you're going to put another $5 into the pot, right? You're hoping that you're going to make some return on the money, but that's not really what your goal is. Your goal is to put money in every month, every month, every month. So it's building a discipline of saving money. All right. If you get a return, that's great. Okay. But you're not looking for a big return. You're looking for money that can't lose money. So saving is not about making money. It's about not losing money. So I'm putting money and I'm saving. I'm putting it away, $100, $100, $100. And I'm hoping that I make some return, but I'm not really looking at the return. I'm looking to have ready money in case I need that money for a rainy day. Saving. Investing is I'm putting money in and I want that money to make money on the money. So now I'm looking for a rate of return on my money. I'm going to give you my money to whichever institution I'm going to give it to. And the institution says, I'm going to give you back earnings on your money. Thank you for lending me the money. I'm going to use that money to make money for you and for myself. So investing money depends on your what we call a time horizon. Time horizon means, do you need the money now? Do you need the money within a year, within 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Depending on your time horizon, then your investments can be more aggressive or less aggressive because you now know you have time to recover. Think about 2024 to 2034. If I know I don't need the money to 2034, I can play a little bit more in the market because I've got time. But if I need the money 3 months from now to go buy a house, I can't play the investment game. I can play the saving game because I'm not going to lose money. I'm going to use that money to go buy the house, buy the car, buy the cottage, whatever I'm going to do with the money. Investing depends on rate of risk and when do I need the money? When do I need the money? How much risk am I going to take? Savings, risk doesn't come into play, if that makes sense. There is no risk in saving, but there's risk in investment.
Excellent. Thank you for a clear explanation. Fitness IQ says, geez, I think she was talking about those two individuals that I shared about in regards to they've retired, but now they have to at least come back into the workforce, part-time workforce. Yeah. And Macmillan Group, good morning, Ray. Good morning to you also. And also good morning, Dr. Tachi. We are here chatting about financial concepts. So Ray is Wayne is breaking down. I'm so used to Wayne is in his golf shirt, but if Ray was on, I know how Wayne.
The Godfather makes me step up my game.
So you talked a little bit there about investment. What are some common mistakes people make when managing an investment risk?
Right. People go on to the social media and they hear different things about investing and they don't scrutinize the source of the information. Is this American information? If you're American, that's great. Is it British information? We're getting a lot of that now. Is it Canadian information? If it's one of the three, is it the appropriate information for 2024? Because if you were to talk to me about if you were talking about the first part of 2023, there would be no such thing as a first-time homeowner savings account. It came out April of 2023. So you have to know what the context is of the information we're giving people. So I'm giving it from a Canadian perspective. I do know a little bit about the American perspective, but I can't speak on it. You have to go talk to an advisor in the USA to get the information on what's relevant to you in America today. I'm speaking from a Canadian perspective today. maybe what I'll do in a future session is I'll bring an American counterpart on and have them compare and contrast what we have in Canada versus what we have in the United States. So maybe we'll do that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Now I know you have a PowerPoint. Do you want me to bring it up? And if you do, when would you like me to bring it up?
Yeah, let's bring up the first slide here, if you can bring that up. So this is called the X curve. And basically what you want to do is you want to look at your journey in life. If you look on the left-hand side of the arrow on the top, you looking at decreasing responsibility. And what do we mean by that? It means that as your kids get older, you're going to have less responsibility for them. I think about all the activities, the swimming, the dance, the summer camps, and all the things that we had to do, baseball, softball, basketball, everything we had to take the kids to. We had maximum responsibility. Then they got Presto cards. Then they got their driver's license. Now they just come and grab the vehicles and go about their business. So we have less responsibility over time. And then we look at wealth. When I was younger, I didn't have a whole lot of money. I was out there trying to get better jobs, make more money, and I'm trying to build wealth. I'm trying to put away money in the RSP, TFSA. I'm doing these things to save money and invest money. I'm trying to build wealth as I get older. Because when you're younger, you're less secure about your income, right? These are the people who are fighting for those jobs at minimum wage. These are the people who are making, less than $20 an hour. There's a lot of those people in Canada. And they need to know that things are going to get better, hopefully. They skill up so they can make more money and gain greater income is what we're hoping for. So we're going to build wealth over time. As you get older, you should have more wealth. You should have less of a mortgage, less of a car payment. Kids are finished with school and university, finish paying for that. So now you start amassing some wealth because now house is paid off, cars are paid off, kids have left the house. Now you start building some wealth and you go into retirement and your money's making money on your money. So you must take care of your responsibilities while building your wealth. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%. 100%. All right. What we will do here. So yeah, family, come on. Let's get some interaction here. There's a lot of good information going down here, but I see Wayne has another slide up. So I'm going to.
Hold on. All right. So put this one up.
100%. There we go.
So you need to look at what you're going to do from a tax perspective, right? Understand that in both countries, you earn it, you pay tax. Down in the States, you guys have your W-2s. In Canada, we have the T4. So if you earn it at work, they tax it. If you spend it, they tax it. If you save it, they tax it. And when you die, they tax it.
Wow.
So you need to find a way to avoid taxes. Remember, tax evasion is illegal, but tax avoidance is your God-given right. So go out there and find ways to reduce your taxable footprint. And there's many things you can do in Canada, many things you can do in the States that are legal, working with your accountant, sometimes working with a lawyer, depending on what you have, to reduce those taxes and transfer the wealth from you to your spouse, if you have one, or from you to your children, if you have them as well, or from you to an institution. You can give money to a university, to a church, to a community center, whatever you want to do, you can have those donations as well. It doesn't have to go to an individual. So again, where do you invest your money? Back to your original question. So some people will say real estate, and we have a lot of people who come on to the show and talk about real estate and what it can and can't do for you and where you should invest your real estate. And that's all good stuff. And I have real estate, and many people who are on this call have real estate, and that's great. Sometimes you have to think about the cash flow. And what I mean by cash flow is when you have a property, is money leaving your pocket or is money coming into your pocket? So all real estate is an asset, but an asset that's cash flowing positive is what you're looking for. So I'd rather make money on my real estate than me take money out of my pocket to have real estate. So when you have a principal residence, your residence that you live in, money is going out. You're paying principal, interest, and taxes to the bank and to the government. No money's coming in. But if you have a basement apartment, or you have a multi-tenanted unit, you live in one,
This is very popular in Montreal. They have duplexes and triplexes and quadplexes and
Yeah.
fiveplexes. You can get your hands on one of those. You can live in one unit. The other 4 you can rent, and you can have that building cash flow positive. So you're basically living for free. Okay. So when people are looking for real estate today, I see a lot of people looking for that single family home, that condo, that townhouse. Maybe that's what they can afford. And that's great. But if you go into other geographies, other provinces, you might be able to get a multi-tenanted unit. And that means the unit can pay for itself and cash flow
100%.
positive for you. So these gentlemen or these folks who left Milton and Toronto and Brampton to go to London, if they had cash flowing properties in London or cash flowing properties in Milton and Brampton, maybe they would need to go to London. Not to say London's a bad place. I've been to London many times. It's nice up there, and there's pockets of London that are brilliant, very nice, but you have to know what you're looking at. Bonds. So bonds are fixed income. So a bond is going to give you a guaranteed rate of return. Usually when the stock market goes up, bonds go down. When the stock market goes down, bonds go up. When interest rates go up, bonds go up. It's beautiful, right? When interest rates go down, bonds go down. Some people should have bonds in the mix because this is money that's going to be protected, and it will be there when you need it down the road. As you get older or as you have more responsibilities, maybe your risk tolerance changes, and bonds are a good way to reduce your risk tolerance and still get some pretty decent returns depending on the cycle bonds are in. Mutual funds is basically a basket of stocks. So rather than having one stock, you're going to buy Nike. Well, you can buy a mutual fund that includes Nike and Tesla and Facebook and RBC and TD. So you can buy mutual funds that include multiple stocks. So it's a basket of stocks. Rather than buying one, you de-risk yourself by diversifying across multiple stocks. And you buy the one mutual fund, and you can get access to 500 stocks in the one mutual fund. Right? So it de-risks you by having more than one stock. So you don't have to be a guru and pick the right stock. Pick a mutual fund that has a aggressive growth, balanced, moderate conservative, a conservative portfolio, and the level of risk will match your risk tolerance. And you go in there and you know you're going to get 4 or 5%, or maybe a little bit more in a balanced fund, 6, 7%. Maybe more in a growth fund, 9, 10%. Aggressive growth, you might be able to make 11% or more. Once you know what your risk is, you can find a mutual fund that is going to do the work for you, the portfolio work for you. Segregated fund is just like a mutual fund, except for a segregated fund is wrapped in life insurance. What does that mean? It means a mutual fund can go to zero. A segregated fund cannot. A mutual fund, you can put $100,000 in, and 5 years later, if the markets are bad, you can have $0. A segregated fund, you can have $100,000. It could go to $0, but there's a guarantee on the segregated fund that says if you pass away during that 5 years, you get 100% of your money back to your beneficiaries. Not true with a mutual fund. Segregated fund has a contract of 15 years. If after 15 years, you're below 75% of the original money you put in, they will top you up to 75 or 100% of what you originally put in. So your downside risk of a segregated fund is much lower than a mutual fund. Also, your mutual fund is a part of your estate. So you're going to pay probate on the mutual fund, and you're going to have to wait for your money while the estate settles. Whereas segregated funds are segregated from the estate. So 30 days after you pass away, that money will be given to your named beneficiaries. So when you have a choice between mutual fund and segregated funds, I ask myself, why would you ever want a mutual fund? Because if you die and the mutual fund has lost 60% of its value, you get a check for 60% of his value. And to add insult to injury, you're going to pay probate fees, and you're going to pay estate tax.
Yep.
And you're going to wait for your money. Or just go with the segregated fund and get all the guarantees. Creditors don't even know the beneficiaries received the money when you have a segregated fund, whereas the estates are public. So they know you have money. So if you owe someone money, they will know if it's a part of your estate that money Oh, you got money? I'm gonna come sue you. I'm gonna contest that will, and I'm gonna hold that so you can pay me back my money. Segregated fund, they don't know who got the money. They don't know who the beneficiaries are. It's private. Okay, so the three benefits of a segregated fund versus a mutual fund is bypass probate. Number one. Number two, bypass creditors. No one knows they got the money. Three, you have a death guarantee, and you cannot lose more than 25% of your money with the segregated fund. If you die while the contract is in place, we top you up to 100%. But it even gets better, Dr. Vibe. We have something called resets. And resets mean if you give me $100,000 and $100,000 grows to $150,000, I can reset your number to 150. So if you die, you don't get the original 100, you get the 150, or the stock market, whatever is, or the market value, whatever is higher. So imagine you give 100,000, you reset your number to 150. Now you're guaranteed 75% of 150 with a segregated fund at maturity. That's $112,000. You gave me 100. That means you can't lose your money. You get a 12% return no matter what. It's incredible. But a lot of people don't know it.
I didn't know it. I didn't know it. I didn't know it.
Yeah, banks will offer you mutual funds. Insurance companies will offer you segregated funds. The fee on the segregated fund can be equal to the fees on the mutual fund, depending on the funds you choose. So the downside in terms of what you're going to pay in fees, Dr. Vibe, if you're making 4% of your money running it yourself, and at the same level of risk, I can get you 9% on your money. Same level of risk. Are you upset that you're paying a fee
Nope.
on that money, but you're getting 5% more than you were getting on your own?
Not at all.
There you go.
4% spread. That's a no-brainer for me anyways.
Perfect. All right. So people have checking accounts and savings accounts. Everybody has their favorite bank that they're going to do that with. Checking accounts pay usually nothing. And to add insult to injury, they say if you don't have $5,000 balance or more, you're going to pay fees every month on that checking account. So we're not going to give you any return, and we're going to charge you fees, or you're going to give us $5,000 of what we're going to consider to be dead money to you, but we're going to take that $5,000 and do what we want with it.
Yep.
You have to keep $5,000 in there, making $0, so you can avoid a $15 a month or $5 or $10 a month fee. Do the math and see if it makes sense. Savings accounts will pay 0.5%. 0.5%, Dr. Vibe. How much is credit card interest?
Oh, 20 plus.
So take the difference between the 20 plus on the credit card and the 0.5 that you're paying on the savings. That's a profit that the bank is making, and that's how the banks make $2 and $3 billion every 3 months.
100%.
Okay.
On the fees.
We know about the stock market, the U.S. stock market being the largest in the world right now. China is coming, but I kind of have more knowledge and more affinity for the U.S. economy. Kind of runs our world in Canada. If the U.S. sneezes, Canada gets a cold because 80% of our gross domestic product is tied to the United States market. So we have to watch what's going on down there. Hey, American stocks. Some of the darlings of the stock market are the Facebooks, Amazon,
the Magnificent Seven,
Apple.
The Magnificent Seven. Yep.
The Big Seven, right? So we know who these guys are. You get a piece of that in your portfolio, you should do okay, right? Stocks aren't for everyone. You have to know what you're doing, and there's a way to de-risk yourself, and the segregated fund does that for you. Okay. Whole life insurance. So whole life insurance is for your whole life. A lot of people are out there offering temporary insurance or term insurance. And term insurance is fine. It's a lot of insurance for a temporary period of time for a very low price. The good news is term insurance can be used rather than creditor insurance, which is what you're going to use with your mortgage. So the bank will say, hey, you want to insure that mortgage to make sure that we get paid if you die? And people go, what? I'll say it again. Do you want to go and pay a premium to ensure we, the bank, get paid should you die? That's what creditor insurance is. And people say, yes, I'll sign up for it. And they sign up. And as you pay down the balance of the mortgage, your payout in case you die also drops. So you're paying the same amount of money every month, but you're getting less and less return, and you're paying off the bank, but you're not paying off for your final expenses, final taxes, or anything for your own family. There's a problem. So you have to get temporary insurance. So you can get temporary insurance to do that, to replace the creditor insurance, which will pay off the mortgage, but also pay, excuse me, final expenses, final taxes, and leave your family something. Right? You want to create generational wealth, not generational debt. Some people have a mattress in a cookie jar. Right? Everybody got a granny who said, "I don't trust the banks."
Yep.
Right? And this is the same thing as a Susu Patna meeting conversation, right? Where you're going to take a little bit of money and put it away every month. You can do that. But if you do that and the house goes up in flames, your money is gone. You can do that. But if you forget and someone says, "Oh, that mattress has bed bugs," and they throw the mattress out.
Oh, God. Don't be
All
like
right.
that, Wayne. Don't be
Someone
like
finds the cookie jar. Right? Then you have credit unions, which will be less fees in the banks and a little more flexibility for the members. And then you have GICs, or a guaranteed investment certificate, which is going to give you a guaranteed rate of return. But you don't really make a lot of money, but you can't lose money. And your money is locked away. And if you cash it out before the money, before the time frame that the money locks away, you're going to incur a charge.
Oh, thank you for the rundown. Before, there's a lot of questions, and we also have one or two responses to the form. But first, you did leave out universal life.
So universal life is like whole life. The difference between the two is that with universal life, it's also a permanent insurance product. But universal life, you can control the investment, as opposed to having a guaranteed investment for the whole life policy, a guaranteed dividend, which is usually about 6%, and not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, but it's never failed to pay. So whole life insurance is going to give you a return, a dividend of north of 6%, and has never failed to pay in the last 80 plus years, but it's not guaranteed.
Okay.
Universal life, you can control the investment, and you can go, much higher than 6%, but you have to watch it and you have to be in control of it.
So someone has filled out the responses. So I'm not going to give their name because don't have permission. But the first question they answered, "What is your relationship with money?" They say, "I have a healthy respect for money. I don't spend randomly." Next question, "Where did you learn about money?" As a young person, my family, mainly my grandparents, who had a stock portfolio, life insurance, and annuities. They had a household budget and didn't spend spontaneously. On a scale, next question, on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you financially? If 10 is all set and 1 is a disaster, they say an 8. They say, "What does your retirement plan look like?" Looks quite good. And then finally, "What does your estate plan look like?" Needs to be updated as it's about 2 years outdated.
This person is doing real work, and I applaud them for having A, finish the survey, and for B, having those responses. My question to them would be, did you do it on your own? Did you do it with an advisor? Did you do it with your parents, or all the above? And that's okay, because what they're saying is at least have a plan. You can work with somebody who has a plan. You can adjust a plan, but someone who doesn't have anything, it's kind of hard. So go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. So the answer to their last question, like their estate plan, needs to be updated. It's 2 years outdated. If you have an estate plan, what is your suggestion on how often should it be reviewed or updated?
Great question. Estate plans should be reviewed, honestly, annually with your advisor. Now,
Okay.
if you've got your estate plan done by a lawyer, it may cost you to sit down with them on an annual basis. So then I would say to you, whenever there's a compelling event or compelling change in your family. So you're single, you have an estate plan. You get married, compelling event, update the estate plan. You're married and have a child, update the estate plan. You're married and have a second child, update the estate plan. All your children are now age of majority, update your estate plan. All your children now have grandchildren, update your estate plan. You get divorced or you're widowed, update your estate plan. So compelling events in your life will dictate. You don't own a home, your estate plan stays the same. You buy a home, update your estate plan. So any major compelling event in your life, that's when you should be updating your estate plan.
Okay, good stuff. Rule of 72, you've mentioned before, but this is a visual of it, so go for it.
Right. So the rule of 72 was popularized by Einstein, but not created by him. And it basically says that if you take the number 72 and divide it by the rate of return on your money, it will tell you how long it's going to take for the money to double. So if you put your money in the bank and you get a high interest savings account at one of these online banks that we have here in Canada, I'm sure they have them in the States as well. If you put $10,000 in at 1.5%, because you want to keep your money safe, this is saving. It will take 48 years for your money to double. For 10,000 to become 20,000, it will take 48 years. If you can get 3% on your money, the money will double every 24 years. And if you can get 6% on your money, the money will double every 12 years. And if you can get 12% on your money, the money will double every 6 years. So I want you to think about something. This is when you're making money. 1.5, 3, 6, 12. This is great. But when the money is working against you in debt, the rule of 72 is also in play. So when you have 72, I'm going to do the math, 72 divided by 19.9% on that credit card, the money doubles every 3.6 years, Dr. Vibe, against you. So we want to make sure that we have the money that's working against us, our debt, is at the lowest interest rate possible, or the interest that we are paying on the debt is being used for an investment. So the interest on the loan is tax deductible. And there's ways to do that. Okay? So I want you to think about, everybody on this call, I want you to think about, where is my money? Is it in a bank, fully exposed to estate and probate, or is it in an insurance company? 2, I want you to look at, what is my rate of return? And a lot of people can't read these statements. So when you have the statement, you should be able to look and see what your rate of return is this year, what it was last year, what it was 3, 5, 7 years ago, whenever you had the investment, and what your overall rate of return is. And if it's below 6%, you have a problem, because the rate of inflation in Canada is 3%, 2 to 3%. So if you're not making 3% on your money, you're not even making zero. Because if inflation is 3% and you're making 3%, you're at zero. But if you're in a bank, you're going to pay tax. So you're below zero. So are you earning more than 3%? And if you're not earning more than 3%, you need to look at that. The last thing I'm going to say about this is, from an investment perspective, every investment you have should have a named beneficiary. And it should not be your estate. Because what you're doing is you're naming a beneficiary that will be taxed. So we want to make sure, some of you are common law, some of you are separated, some of you are divorced, some of you don't talk to that person anymore, but you have them as named beneficiary because you haven't updated your documents in years. Something happens to you, you could be living with one person, and the last person you're living with is the named beneficiary, and the last person that you were living with that you no longer talk to is going to get that money. And the person sleeping in the bed beside you will not get the money because you didn't update your named beneficiary. Don't let it happen to you. Go look at every piece of paper you have that has a named beneficiary and make sure your beneficiary is not the estate and actually the people you want the money to go to.
Wow. That right there, I hope people heard that. I hope so. Yeah, we got some comments here. So going back a little bit, Dr. Tachi way back said, this is excellent information indeed. Also, got another comment here. Let me get down to it. Yeah, Ray McMillan says, consumer debt is the biggest obstacle to a growth financial journey. It negatively impacts every financial decision that can improve one's life. Facts. And then also Dr. Tachi says, wow. Also, we have another person's filled out the survey. So I'll give you the results. So they answered, what is your relationship with money? A little too casual. And then the answer to the question, where did you learn about money? School of Hard Knocks. Then the answer to, on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you financially if 10 is all set and 1 is a disaster? 7. What does your retirement plan look like? Looking good, hoping for better. And then finally, what does your estate plan look like? Needs work.
Okay. I can tell you that 56% of Canadians don't have a will. And in the Black community, that number goes up to over 80%.
I was going to say probably about 80%.
So when I go out there and I meet a family that looks like me and they have everything in place, I have to give them the slow clap. Because I'm like, wow, amazing. I was in Ajax a few weeks ago, a single dad, talking to him, put his insurance together. Insurance was looking good. And he said, I think I have a will. He went upstairs, came back downstairs and showed me the will. And he goes, I go, well, there's 3 documents here. He goes, I don't know what's in there. I think it's just a will. He had a will. He had a power of attorney for his finances, and he had a power of attorney for his health. These are 3 different documents.
And not to be, how can I say, stereotypical, how often do you see that for a single Black male?
Buddy, it's like Snuffleupagus, only Big Bird. Only Big Bird can see it. You got to be OG to know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Very, very, very rare. I was very impressed that he had it in place. His son is 9 years old, and his son can't do anything until he's 18. And he has everything in place to make sure his son's going to be taken care of. So I was very, very proud of him for having that in place. I think that, some of the reasons we discussed it on many, many shows, why people who look like us from the Caribbean and Africa don't want to have these documents in place is because there's a negative spirituality, superstition attached to, if I say the word will 3 times, like Beetlejuice, I'm going to die. Right? So people don't want to say will, people don't want to have a will because they're almost wishing death upon themselves. And one has nothing to do with the other. Like the boxer Floyd Mayweather, death is undefeated. And other than once 2024 years ago, when one person came down, died, and 3 days later ascended into heaven. Other than that one person, no one else has defeated death. So if you know it's coming, why not prepare to have the softest landing you can have financially and stress-wise by having all the instructions in place for your people? No one has to guess. Do I pull the plug? Do I not pull the plug? Do I sell the house? Do I not sell the house? Do I give it to all 3 kids, or is one child excluded because they already received their money while they were alive? So what can we do to help?
All right. You have another slide? You want to put it up?
Yep. Let's go here. Let's see. Present.
I can put it up.
Okay.
Here we go.
There you go. You're a good man.
Thank you.
All right. So this is taxes, death and taxes. We're trying to reduce the impact on taxes, and what you put your money in from a Canadian perspective is going to determine where your taxes are going to hurt you. So look at the left. This is tax me always, fully taxable. Savings accounts, guaranteed income certificates, money market funds, secondary properties, tax. Okay? Tax deferred. I'm not going to pay tax now, but I'm going to pay tax later. Registered retirement savings plan. I'm going to pay tax when I pull on that money. When I'm at 65 or whenever I retire, I'm going to pay on the RSP. But it's going to force me to take money out, whether I need it or not, at age 71, which is a RRIF, Registered Retirement Income Fund. And the government forces you to take the money out so they can tax it because you've been hiding it in there for what could be the better part of 40 years. Registered education savings plans, when you take the money out for the students, because you've been saving for their education, that money is taxable. But because the kids are not making real money, they're still part-time, they fall usually below any tax that's material because they're 17 and they're going to university or college. And then the first time homeowner savings account, if you don't use it to buy a house, it can be moved into your RRSP, assuming you have room. But if you don't have room, that becomes taxable because you didn't buy a house in Canada. And that's brand new as of last year. Then there's pay taxes now and never pay taxes again. The first bucket everybody understands in Canada, tax-free savings account, which has been around since 2009. Stephen Harper brought that into play. The Americans have the IRA, Roth IRA. They have their 401ks. We have our RRSPs. They have their, I think it's 529s, and we have the RESPs. So we have things that are kind of on both sides of the border that are the same. The first column there were taxable, same thing on both sides of the border. The last piece, cash accumulation in a life insurance policy. This is what most people forget about. When you have permanent insurance, universal life or whole life, you have the ability to have two buckets of money. One bucket is the death benefit, and the other bucket is the cash value. Both of those will go to your named beneficiaries. One of them you can have access to when you're alive, which is a cash accumulation. So while you're putting your premiums in every month into these permanent insurance policies, the cash value is accumulating every year. Whole life policy, dividend is paying out 6 and change every year, increasing the cash value every year. Universal life policy, you might be using the S&P 500. It might be paying out 2-3 times that, 18-19% every year. You can borrow against a whole life policy, cash value. You can borrow 90% of the cash in the policy. And why would you borrow it? You can take it out. But if you take it out, take the cash out, you stop the compounding, first of all. And the second of all, if you stop the compounding, the money comes out, it becomes income. What's the second word in Canada after income, Dr. Vibe in Canada?
Tax.
Exactly. So if you take the money out of the policy, you can, but then you stop the compounding and insult to injury, you pay tax. But if you borrow against the policy, collateralize the policy, or get a policy loan against the policy, all loans are tax-free. So you can borrow against the policy and go and invest. And when you invest, the interest on the policy loan is tax deductible in Canada. And it works the same in the United States. This is one of the buckets that most people do not have. And by the way, the youngest age you can get a policy for a human being is 15 days old.
Wow.
And it can compound tax-free, and that child could live to 100. That's 100 years
Of compounding.
tax-free compounding, uninterrupted by anything. It's amazing. So this is what we call dollar cost averaging. So when people say, Wayne, I have $100,000, can you take the $100,000 and invest it for me? I can. But what I do is I'll take the $100,000 and get it out of the bank. So it's out of the harm's way for their estate and for probate. And I'll put it into a segregated fund. Okay, let's say in this case. And when I take that $100,000, I move it across from bank to insurance company. I get it out of the estate and put it over here where it's out of the estate with named beneficiaries. Good. Now, I don't take that $100,000 and throw it into the stock market at whatever investment they've chosen or we've chosen together for them. What I do is I take it into the money market, park it in the money market, and I drip it in to the market every month. So it's out of the bank, in the insurance company. You get all the guarantees of the segregated fund, but now I'm going to put it into market bit by bit so that I don't have to time the market. If the market's up, I'm buying good stuff at a high price. If the market's down, I'm buying good stuff at a great price. So dollar cost averaging is a way for you to smooth out your risk. So let's look at this and say, for argument's sake, it's $100 a month someone's giving me. And they're going to do this automatic pre-approved debit from their paycheck, $100 every month. In January, they give me $100, and the share price for whatever segregated fund is $10. So if they give me $100, they can buy 10. Next month, the stock market crashes. Most people will panic. Here's what I know. If I ask any lady about their favorite shoe, and I'm not being sexist, guys buy shoes too. Any guy, any girl, Nike shoes go on sale. They're half price. Do you say, I'm not going to buy those Nike shoes at half price? I'm going to wait till they go back to regular price before I buy them. Do we do that, Dr. Vibe? We don't do that. We say Nikes are on half price. I'm going to buy two.
Hey, look, I when I was much younger, because probably like you, I have a big foot size.
Yes.
Right. And there used to be times where when I went to the States, I used to load up on shoes because I can't get those shoe sizes and those styles here.
Correct.
So that's, I can relate 100%.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to buy more, but people forget in the stock market, they see the price go down. They want to leave. Wayne, sell it all, Wayne. Why?
Look,
why?
Look, if people look at the historical trend of the stock market over the years, it's long-term versus short-term.
Correct. If you need the money tomorrow, maybe the stock market is not for you. If you need the money 5, 10, 15 years from now, you should hold on and relax, because time horizon and risk tolerance are the two things I look at. When do you need the money? You need the money now? Money market. I'm not going to risk it. When do you need the money? I'm 40. I'm going to retire at 65. Let's go to the stock market, which has returned 11% on average the last 60 years. Why wouldn't you? But anyway, February it's $100. It's gone down to $5. We get 20 units. March, it goes down again. Most people will panic. We buy the same $100. Discipline is the key, not emotion. April, $100. It goes down to $1. Most people are panicking and wanting their money back. But this is what happened during COVID in 2020. This is what happened in 2008. This is what happened in Y2K. This is what happened Black Friday 1987. This is what happened in 1974. It happens about every 10 years. This is what happened during the Great Depression. You got to be consistent and disciplined. You put the money in, Dr. Vibe, you put $600 in. Okay? You have 330 units. Now you sell at $2. 330 times $2 is $660.
Yeah.
So you made 10% return while the market was dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Dollar cost averaging will help you do that. So we need everybody on this call and anybody who hears this message. Yes, if you have lump sums, put the lump sums in. But even when I get those lump sums, I usually do dollar cost averaging to give you the opportunity. So if the market moves one way or the other, you still win. This is how you win in a down market. Any other comments or questions in the?
I not from me, but I have one or two.
Go ahead.
What are some of the current trends in the financial world that people should be aware of?
Current trends. Well, first and foremost, you want to take advantage of any program the government is giving you access to. So the first-time homeowner savings account is one of the things that's brand new for Canada as of last 2023, last year. So you want to have one of those. Unfortunately, for anybody who did not put at least $100 into a first-time homeowner savings account last year, lost a full $8,000 allocation for that year. So here's what I'm going to say to people in 2024. If you don't have a first-time homeowner savings account and you're looking to buy a house, here's what you do. Even if you can't max out the full $8,000 into the first-time homeowner savings account, put $100 into the account. Open the account with your friendly neighborhood Bajan financial security advisor. Once you have that $100 allocated,
I need to be here.
Sorry,
I'll put myself on mute. I gotta laugh a bit. Go.
Listen, when 2025 comes, you now have the ability to put $8,000 in 2024 and $8,000 in 2025. By just putting $100 and parking it there in 2024, you'll be able to put $16,000 over the 2 years. Now, here's a money move. If you have $35,000 or more in an RRSP in Canada, $35,000 or more, you know that the first-time homeowners first-time buyers program, you can use $35,000 from your RSP to put as a down payment on a house. Great. But if you have more than $35,000 in RSPs, here's a money move. Take $8,000 from your RSP, anything above $35,000, and move that money into a first-time homeowner savings account. Boom. You just came up with $8,000. Now you have a new bucket of money. So now you have the ability to put $43,000 into an RSP because you got $35,000 from your RSP and you have $8,000 from your first-time homeowner savings account. You can take that and put that as a down payment on the house. So every year, for every dollar you have above $35,000 in your RSP, move $8,000 over into your first-time homeowner savings account so you can put more of a down payment down and take less stress. The money's sitting in your RSP, but you can't use anything above $35,000 to buy a house. So if you have more than $35,000, get it over to the first-time homeowner savings account, and we can do that without paying any taxes, right? 2 registered accounts, transferring, you don't touch it. It goes into the first-time homeowner savings account. Do that for 2 years. Now you got 16 on this side, 35 on that side. Do it again for another year. You got 24 on this side and 35 on this side. Take the 2 of those together and now go get your down payment on your house. These are the moves, right? These are the moves.
All right, family. There is Wayne's contact information. Right till the end. Great added value. There's his information. I challenge someone to contact him. I'm just putting it out there. All right. So as we shut it down today, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, again, 20 followers away, 20 subscribers away from 1,500 on the YouTube. It's nothing like Indie Suit Media's got their 15K and going strong. No worries. Advertise on any of the platforms I'm a part of. Feel free. Dr.Vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Again, email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. So a few things coming up. Upcoming conversations on the Morning Vibe is, first of all, this Monday, sugar, drug, or simple guilty pleasure. Kellen Nicole from Energy Shack Juice Bar, certified holistic nutritionist, will be on sharing about that. Next up, next Friday, July 12th, 9 a.m., we have 2 members of the board from the Black Business and Professional Association going to be addressing the allegations on the BBPA. And also, Hayden Morrison's going to be part of that conversation as a concerned community member. So those are some of the things coming up. Also, tomorrow, Saturday, July 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala, where they're going to be discussing the sense and nonsense that's going on in America politically. And I'm sure Joe Biden's going to be topic number 1. And I'll throw that in this Sunday, Black Canada Talking with myself and Cesar Nadima Musa, where Cesar comments on things locally, provincially, nationally, globally. So we've got it all covered there. All right. So before we leave, a few more things. Yeah, a lot of things today, but we've been away for a few days. Got to catch up. Ryan's contact information, Ryan O'Neill Knight, LinkedIn, Ryan O'Neill Knight, Instagram at Ryan.Knight99. Email address for him, work with me, RyanO'NeillKnight.com. His website is RyanO'NeillKnight.com. Myself, website, the drvibeshow.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram, The Dr. Vibe Show, X/Twitter at drvibeshow, and email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And finally, you can watch replays of this epic conversation on The Dr. Vibe Show, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, Afro-Caribbean Business Network, YouTube and Facebook, and Ryan O'Neill Knight, YouTube, and that's it. Wow, lots in today, no problem. Ray McMillan says, what a great session, extremely informative and well presented. From The Godfather. All right. The Godfather gives his blessing. All right. So let's close it down. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Oh, Oh, another comment here. Fitness IQ Cam. Don't forget and greet fee $1,000. I don't know what that is all about. Meet and greet. For I don't know what that is. I don't run your world like you do. All right. You got to explain more for me, Fitness IQ Cam. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith and walk good.